Welcome, my acolytes. I'm Graveseeker, and this is Hollywood tells woke writers to leave. And this is from ENDYMION. I'm gonna react to it just for the pure and nice little satisfaction of that those mofos that don't want to work all day have a freaking chill job and actually just don't do their stuff. Because let's be honest, I assume every single one of us seen the last releases of movies, some serials, some things, and you gotta admit it's shit. And I'm quite happy that Hollywood actually starts to kick the freaking extremely bad writers out, finally. Because I mean, if you don't want to do your job, change the job. It's that simple. Maybe it doesn't go in, well, a month. You of course can't just shit all over it and say bleh, and risk everything, but if you're bad at it, F off. But well, let's see what ENDYMION has to say.
What's up everyone, it's ENDYMION, and you're likely aware that the Hollywood writer's strike is all but officially over now. After months of protesting, studios and writers were able to officially come to an agreement. But is this a good thing? What does it mean for the future of Hollywood, and how will things get better? That's what I want to explore here, as well as how some actors are refusing to back down.
It's simple. How things get better? Kick the bad people out that don't want to work, keep the passionate people in, and pay them their due duties. Don't let them work on a minimum wage, because nobody will give it 110% if they don't get the money they actually want, and if they are a lazy bum.
As far as saying calling things woke, for example, is now racist. To begin, let's look at this article from Bounding Into Comics titled "Hollywood Screenwriter Explains How Woke Diversity Hires Will Be Out of Jobs Under New WGA." This article is what will help me frame everything rather well. Since now that the strike is over, people believe things will just go back to how they were, except now writers will make more money. Unfortunately, for diversity hired writers who are more activists than being competent at their jobs, it's anything but the case. The reality, a lot of these identity politically driven activists are going to learn the hard way over the next few years is how their old ways of pushing woke nonsense won't exactly work how they expected to.
Yep, and I agree 100% with that. If you're in a job, do your effing job. Don't try to spread your political opinions or your opinions through and through. Just sit down, do your job. If you're a stupid person, just shut up and go on with your fucking life. Don't draw everyone else of us just in your shitty position just because you want us to know this and this and this, and that everything's bad, every man is bad, every woman, believe all women, like that shit. And no, just shut the fuck up. I want my product, do my product, and then go away. And yes, it sounds a bit mean, but honestly, I worked as a butcher. Nobody cared if the wiener tasted bad. Nobody gave a fuck about me. So why should I give a fuck about some fucking writer that sits down the entire day and I get shitty entertainment out of it? Fuck him.
This gets explained by a live stream on YouTube called Midnight's Edge, where one of the voices on the panel goes by Script Doctor, who's a Hollywood script writer. This is going to be a little long, but it's a good idea to get the full context. Script Doctor went on to say about the future of woke Hollywood, and I quote, "This is one of the things I didn't like in regards to the guaranteed writers rule because you have compelled hiring. But it looks like certain members in the union on the negotiating committee have turned that inside out a little bit for the benefit of writers that know how to finish a script, and maybe not push too much ideology in there. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely some veteran writers out there that are drinking the Kool-Aid, but the vast majority of them, the ones that do preach this, are younger. I've been learning through my colleagues that a lot of them have actually spent more time..."
Yep. And I know what he wants to say, because the younger generation, like not the youngest, but the Gen Z, I think it is like that are just full of themselves. It's so pathetic. Just accept that you're just a little cog in a big machine, and don't be like, but oh no, shouldn't I make your life better? Yes, you should. You should. But in the grand scheme of things, you're irrelevant. It is that simple. Try to do everything you can to better yourself. If you're happy at that point, then it's fine. Just do that, but do it good.
Striking and spending.
And not like those young fuckers that just think they know all with fucking 18 years old. And then you just get situations where, well, you get effed, you drag other people down with you, and yeah, that's not good.
Time on social media, then actually expanding their portfolio of scripts to pitch when the strike is over. So basically what we are seeing here from the youngins is that there's going to be possibly less opportunities for them, especially in something like the pre-greenlit or mini rooms.
I love it. Good. Good. They should get fucked for this. Every single one of them. And don't get me wrong, I'm not for Hollywood. But I also dislike the fuckers that actually try to, well, count me in. Because if you, in my opinion, you know that Hollywood is a freaking batshit crazy, full of sexual predators, drug hole with a lot of assholes in it. In my opinion, it should burn. But the strikers, most of them, they should also get fucked. Because honestly, fuck them. If they get the say, then I have something negative out of it. Not just me, but also you can see it in schools. Especially in schools. My niece actually came up one time to me and told that her, how's it called? No, not my niece, the niece of a colleague. That, so, blah, blah, blah. I'm not finding my words. I keep it in fact. No, my niece told, the niece of a colleague told him that they actually get sexual education in a freaking when they are 5 years old. So what the fuck? Wait.
It clearly defines that a showrunner has to be a unique writer, so it can't be an internal executive producer like a Kevin Feige. It also gives them a bit more power into who they select for the writing positions in the minimum staffing mini rooms, and it also says that whoever they select has to be approved by the company, or the showrunner has to argue for them to be involved. Now, with regards to those rooms, a good showrunner is only going to hire writers that they are going to get value out of in their room, which means that if you are a diversity hire and that's all you've got going on, you are of no value to a showrunner, which means you are not going to get your guaranteed hire over there, and I think that's a good thing. The other aspect with regards to the contract pertaining to mini rooms is that the compelled hiring has now increased. That essentially turns the mini room into something more expensive than the traditional model of developing a pilot. Producing the pilot to be screened before an audience test to see whether or not it's actually going to be good, and then giving it the green light to go into an actual series order. The mini room basically tries to force a hit show within a 6 or 8 or 10 episode structure. Get it all written before any of it is filmed and then push it out there. You can take a look at a pilot like Ahsoka and say to yourself, okay, that's a show that was done in a mini room. It was done by one writer, Dave Filoni. And if you put that through the pilot test, there's no way it would have been picked up for the remainder of the episodes. And that's a good thing. You don't want that. And when you have those types of orders and you have the showrunner being in charge of it and picking the writers they want to work with, and being able to argue why they need it for the benefit of the show, you then basically exclude any of the writers in town that are not going to be of value to you. And I think everybody listening and gentlemen on the panel know those types of writers are not going to be lasting in this industry because they're not qualified, and I think that's great. Quote. So basically, given this new meta for Hollywood script writing, it should in theory weed out any of the woke.
There he says it in theory, because I also think in theory, yes, this sounds extremely nice, but in praxis, I don't know if this will go the way that it's actually planned in theory. Sorry. But we will see. I really think it will go that way at a point, but right now people are just brainwashed that much in this freaking cult that maybe yes, maybe not.
Activist writers at a much better rate.
I hope it will
One
work.
of these new changed rules that was approved is the new residual metric. Before, writers could write a show, and the money they would get from that show wouldn't really be dictated by how much of the subscriber base of the streaming service they're writing for was actually watching the thing that they made. But now, due to this new residual metric, writers are guaranteed to be financially compensated if their new show is able to gain viewership from around 20% or more of the entire subscriber base. What this means is that writers are now being financially encouraged to actually make good shows that people actually want to watch.
And by the way, I think that's extremely good. That's really good. If you get a nice show, do a good show. And of course, on the other hand, you still need somewhat good and fine marketing, but you also have a really good, nice financial perspective with it.
Since the better your
incentive
show is and the more it's watched, the more money you'll make. It's
Yes.
crazy that this wasn't really a thing on streaming before, but now that it is, this means writers are basically being incentivized to not write garbage that'll divide audiences like woke nonsense or alienate the viewership for identity reasons. This doesn't mean, of course, that there won't be any woke nonsense in the future, as unfortunately, like Script Doctor said earlier, there's still plenty of senior higher-up writers, showrunners, and producers who have caved into the woke mind virus.
Yes, but my acolytes, if you wanna go against this, just don't watch it. And I know it's like, of course that's not, but yeah, if you're against this, if you don't want garbage, don't watch garbage. If you don't wanna eat shit, don't eat shit, because if you watch garbage, you eat shit, you're gonna get garbage and shit because it's easier to produce.
But this new meta will, in theory anyway, mean we'll be getting far less woke garbage going forward, or hopefully anyway. Unless these writers don't want to make money or have another job in the industry, I guess. And as Script Doctor further explains, this new model metric for money and what's actually going to make a profit will expose habits of woke writers like an open nerve to the higher-ups. And it'll likely lead to writers who push activist slop to be targeted and excommunicated from ever writing again. Because
I hope so.
you obviously don't want to pay someone and keep giving them work when they keep losing you money. Which may seem like common sense to me or you, but to these Hollywood types, it's insane that it took almost a half-year exodus to come to the conclusion that, oh, maybe we should give audiences what they want. Wow, you think? You guys are idiots. Another YouTuber named Valiant Renegade also echoed this too, that this new standard will likely cause many of these woke idiots to lose their jobs and resort to finding work outside of Hollywood. And while I don't exactly wish ill upon people or want...
I imagine one of those fuckers just coming to my job and doing this shit. I live in Germany, so it's not as bad as in America or Britain, but god damn, I would fuck them so up. Really, because my freaking thing at work is do your job and it's fine. We're gonna get everything out of what we can for a positive to you and a positive for the firm that employs you. But I also tend on the side of the people, of my workers, because of the workers, because I lived it. I know that having a job that's backbreaking is way more difficult than sitting behind a freaking stool on a stool and drawing a few papers, because I worked in both. And yeah, that's just, of course, the paper job, it's more stressful, but the backbreaker job, well, this will fuck you up guaranteed. The paper job may not.
Their livelihoods ruined. When it comes to the mind virus, I can't help but be glad it's happening, because we need more great content, especially when so many shows already have been ruined by these writers before. The Witcher was ruined. Obi-Wan Kenobi's show about him fighting Anakin should have been amazing, but instead it was a babysitter simulator where...
yeah. The Witcher, yeah, was ruined. I was sad, and Obi-Wan also. I wanted this guy, this beautiful man of Obi-Wan. Normally I'm like for the dark, edgy stuff, but Obi-Wan, I was so happy to see it, just because a positive force of a man that's just diplomatic, that's cunning, that's really strong at his stuff, and just being this charming fighting machine. But well, babysitter simulator, as Endymion said, and he's right. Because he's just right.
A random Inquisitor had just as much screen time as the guy the show is named after. Masters of the Universe ruined He-Man for head-shaved girl and her girlfriend. And the Marvel Universe has been thrown into oblivion due to how poorly it's been doing thanks to these writers. And unfortunately, a lot of these writers who make garbage maybe did something in the past to become a hot-ticket item for studios to work with. An example of this would be Dave Callahan. He wrote slop like Wonder Woman 1984, Mortal Kombat, Zombieland 2, and Shang-Chi. 4 movies that either were box office disappointments that ruined its core characters for ideology reasons, or were just plain boring movies that didn't understand the source material. Mortal Kombat especially was dreadful to watch, with a random new character as the hero who kills Goro of all people in his opening fight. To say I don't have high hopes for the sequel would be an understatement. And hopefully these changes can also be replicated in video games as well, since there's so many games these days that are riddled with nonsense that there's nobody but the writers themselves. Mortal Kombat's movie wasn't the only bad thing either, since the newest game in the series had one of the worst stories I've ever witnessed in a video game in a very long time. And then you got video game adaptations pissing off fan bases recently like Castlevania Nocturne. I haven't watched the new season myself yet, but from what I can gather online, it seems like fans are pissed because that show seems to be chock full of millennial cringe writing.
God damn it, they had to destroy it.
And yet again, we have
Castlevania was so nice.
Berated and attacked by race-swap side characters.
God damn
Not
it,
to mention,
no.
they're just being very bizarre animation-wise as well. Like how in this one clip, the animators just slide the background without moving the character, which just looks so weird.
Ugh.
But again, I haven't seen it yet myself, so maybe it's not as bad as people make it out to be. I enjoyed parts of the original Castlevania Netflix series.
Yeah, I will look at it, but god damn if they had to do it dirty, didn't they? I think they did, but I believe it because the old thing was actually quite nice. It wasn't that bad from the freaking political side, so it was fine. The story was okay. I like the animation. I like the two guys, actually the freaking symbiote they had with each other. The girl was also quite nice. This guy, beautiful story. He was one of the best characters in the thing. Dracula, everything. Yeah, those two, the vampire chicks, I didn't like that much. It basically just their personality, but they were okay.
Even if that too had some bad writing as well, but the apparent state of Nocturne is what these new writing rules will hopefully lead out in the future. Because the less these awful writers get jobs, the less opportunities there will be for these morons to ruin everything they touch in the future. because the last thing we need is more insufferable girl boss characters and bitch boy male ones that stand to the side to let the girls do all the fighting. But it's interesting how because of the early meta, it's why slobs like Book of Boba Fett or Ahsoka got through to becoming a full series. Because when the bar of quality is so bad, you can't really be surprised when the result is anything but liquid shit wrapped in nonsense. Then, of course, you have actors like Kathy Tyson, who claims calling something woke is as bad as a slur, which is hilarious to me. She continues on to say that terms...
I will agree, because woke is, in my opinion, it is a slur. But it's a slur in the sense of its reality, and your stuff is shit. You can call the other thing also shit, but it's woke. I would say it's more of a your stuff is politically charged shit.
It's like woke or race card.
Damn politically charged shit. I'm just like I don't know which flag. A Democrat or a Republican flag. I don't know like. And there is just a shit, but basically politics this day. Oh fuck, or as always.
Are usually offensive to me. But I think I speak for everyone when I say we don't care if it offends you at all. Because calling something woke is not racist. Instead, it's simply a convenient term people like myself or any content creator or commenter can say that immediately signals to anyone else that the thing we're talking about can be lumped in with the rest of the garbage.
Yep.
Saying woke is offensive is like claiming being called a dumbass is mean. When if you don't want to be a dumbass, maybe stop being a dumbass. It's not that hard. Sure, we all say stupid things from time to time, but if your answer to being called out is that everyone who disagrees with you is racist, then you're not only a dumbass, but you're weak too. If you don't want to be called woke, maybe stop pushing crap that strengthens that belief. This actor says that the term is a direct insult used to undermine progressive ideas. But I've always been of the mind that if the only way you can keep your ideas from being dismantled is via censorship, then your ideas are likely shit to begin with.
Correct.
Ideas that become movements need to understand that their existence will lead to criticism regardless of what it is. But if you're worried that your ideas can be so easily thwarted that the only course of action is to dogpile, censor, or ban others to speak out...
Yep, then your ideas are shit. They're bad. Just think about it.
Against it, you're kind of proving the point of your detractors that what you stand for is something built upon sand rather than actual concrete beliefs. If you say communism is good, and I say it's bad, you can't defend why it's good except by screaming and shitting yourself, you're proving my point. There's a reason why things like debating exist, and if you just lump everyone that hates wokeness as racist, then you've lost the plot already. Nonsense like this is why we are where we are anyway, where the quality of almost everything is turned to shit. Schools are infested with it, and places like Hollywood have been used to parodies of themselves.
That's by the way the worst. Just if a cult just infiltrates the school system, this is one of the freaking best moves a cult can make.
Doesn't it? And it's always ironic when out of anyone on Earth, it's the people who champion woke ideology that are the ones who see people only for their skin color and gender.
Correct. Racist.
Proving
it's simple.
That by embracing these so-called...
It's simple. In my opinion, this woke stuff, it's just racism in a different package. That's all.
Progressive ideas, all you're really doing is reducing the entire world into a black and white state of meaning. And there's either those who agree with you, or you're the literal Antichrist, as this actor would probably say you are if you disagree with them. You're not racist for being sick of these things, and it's not mine or yours' fault that the...
Yes, and by the way, if somebody, anybody in your life, presses you to an opinion by power, or does anything else just by power, get out of it. Except it's like a parent-kid situation. I mean, parents have to have a certain authority over kids because, well, let's face it, kids are dumbasses. It is what it is. And, I mean, they are kids. Of course, they are dumbasses. But in your life, in your daily life, you have someone that always pushes you down or does something that you don't agree with, and you basically just want to say, fuck you, bro? Well, do it.
The state of the world Things are the way they are because they're deliberately being pushed to become that way on purpose. But hopefully by closing our wallets, minds, and belief systems to these insane people, they'll eventually fade away until their entire modern religion that is a hive mind is reduced to a footnote in a history book one day.
I disagree on the religion part. I think it's a cult. Cult. And acolytes? We are not a cult. We are... Yeah, we are. Fuck it. I know what I'm talking about. No, but honestly, fuck this.
And finally, we have this article from a few months back that kind of signaled where Hollywood might be going in the future as well. With this LA Times article painting a picture that conservatives are outing high-profile women of color in executive roles. This conspiracy theory, as the LA Times claims, is being pushed by white people to cleanse Hollywood. One of the exits was Karen Horn, who was in charge of diversity and equity at Warner Bros. Discovery. She was laid off in June, and apparently during 10 days straight in June 2023, 4 high-ranking women of color were either laid off or forced off by executives at high-profile companies like Disney, Netflix, Warner, and the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. The LA Times also cites how others they've spoken to are parroting a narrative that Hollywood elites don't want African Americans to have access to corporations, when this has been anything but the opposite, with many corporations deliberately hiring only people of color. But again, the mess we're in right now isn't...
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's bullshit that higher ups specifically don't want African American. That's total bullshit. Because if you have a firm, you don't care who works for you. You care about how what they do and how good they do it. It's that simple. If I had one, I mean, Graveseeker is right now too small to actually make money and being a firm, but if I had one, I wouldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't give a fuck what skin color, what accent you have, everything else. I just need the work you do to be really good. I mean, good, and have some heart in it. Just give your best. And it's normal that your best may not be as high as from a different person that, let's say, has a natural talent in it. But if you give your best, I'm gonna pay you good money. It's that simple. Of course, I'm not gonna be always nice to you and I don't mean that I'm gonna be extra nice, but I will be stern because, well, that's the type I am. That's what it is. But, well, never got people that actually complain about well, okay, I got when I was younger and I still learned the entire thing, the freaking being a boss thing, or not a boss, a higher up. When I was younger, I just heard people out, hey, what can I do better, what worse, what was bullshit, what was actually valuable information for me, sorted out and got better. And now I know, okay, people want money and the time they are respected. That's all. If you can do those two things, you're already on a good way to be a good boss. But of course, that's a extremely simplified thing, a very simplified explanation for the entire thing. But yeah, more or less.
Because of the influx of people of color, but is that these Hollywood studios are prioritizing identity over actual abilities and credentials. I don't care if someone who's a minority wrote something I enjoy, but I do care that the quality of entertainment has diminished. And it's because people who aren't qualified are being given jobs based on things that have nothing to do with the job to begin with. And of course, the LA Times plays the old victim card and tries to slide in Black Lives Matter as being a credible example of needing programs for people of color. The same Black Lives Matter where its founder was caught spending the donations on $1 million homes in gated communities.
Yep. BLM was a scam. As are a lot of things. But yep. Bad apples, acolytes. Very bad apples. Just stop oil.
That's right, one of the founders bought a $6 million home using money meant to better the lives of black people across America. And another BLM founder was on probation for forgery and tampering with evidence back in 2015.
Yep.
That founder, whose name is Pamela Moses, was not able to vote due to the probation. But she illegally voted anyway, and now she's spending 6 years behind bars. Look.
Yes, and that's justified. I am sorry, but that's justified. I mean, F those people for not just opening a fucking criminal organization, because I think this is criminal, but also being like abusing the trust of people that actually just want to better their lives. Because the people on the really low scale, they believe that they are actual victims. And there are some that actually are. And they put their trust in this person. And they just scam them like heartless beings. Totally heartless, disgusting human beings.
What I'm trying to say here is that this woke nonsense permeates throughout much of the world. It's not just Hollywood. There's a lot of sneaky activists using these easily manipulated avenues to monetize and better themselves, while abandoning the people they said that they would help. It's no conspiracy that 4 high-ranking women lost their jobs. If 4 men lost similar jobs, no one would bat an eye. Let's be real. The media only cares because they believe it's racist, when in reality it's simply because the people who were hired weren't doing a good job. I'm sick of the identity politics of today. We need to be honest with ourselves and start actually hiring people based on their skills again, and not their identities. Only then will things actually start to get better than where we're at currently.
But I think the rest we don't have to listen to. Just give Endymion some love. And give me a lot of love. I need way more love than him. He's actually successful enough. Give me all the love you would give him and make it double. Command Acolytes. Yeah. This is what it is. But as it is for now, Acolytes, that's all for today. Good night.